Welcome to Daily Harmony. Today we're diving deep into a really powerful idea from A Course in Miracles.
Hmm.
It's a lesson 186, and the title is, well, it's pretty direct. The salvation of the world depends on me.
It is. It stops you in your tracks a bit, doesn't it?
It really does. So before anyone feels like they suddenly need superpowers, let's, unpack what this might actually mean in the context of the Course.
Right. We've got the lesson text itself and some analysis and study materials to help us explore it.
Exactly. Our goal here isn't to, give you definitive answers, but more to explore how this idea of individual responsibility connects to, well, the well-being of everyone.
And maybe spark a few aha moments for you listening.
Hopefully. The core idea seems to be that our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, they aren't just happening in a vacuum.
No, absolutely not. They ripple out. They influence this collective consciousness.
So this deep dive is really about understanding why your inner work, that journey towards love, forgiveness, finding peace inside, is presented as like a vital piece of global transformation.
It's a profound concept. That lesson 186, it's just so direct. It puts the responsibility for the world's salvation. And we need to define that term carefully.
Right.
You're squarely on each of us. It's not about waiting for something or someone out there.
No external savior needed then.
Not in the way this lesson frames it. It's an internal call to action, fundamentally.
Okay, so that central message,
Yeah.
the salvation of the world depends on me. It sounds huge, overwhelming maybe.
It can feel that way initially, for sure. I think the first step is getting clear on what salvation means in this context.
Good point. It's probably not the traditional religious definition.
Not exactly. Within the Course, and especially here, salvation really points towards a state of healing. Healing and peace for the whole world.
Ah, okay. Healing and peace.
And the lesson suggests that achieving this isn't something imposed from the outside, but it actually emerges from a shift within each person, a shift in perception.
So less about one big act of saving and more about lots of individual inner shifts creating an outer change.
Precisely. It really pushes back against that common feeling of being separate, Like we're all just individuals bumping into each other.
Yeah, isolated in our own little worlds.
Instead, it emphasizes this deep underlying interconnectedness. It suggests that when we move away from judgment, from fear, and choose love and forgiveness within ourselves,
That's the contribution.
that's presented as the primary contribution to this global salvation, this healing.
Okay, this interconnectedness idea feels really central then. The lesson says our minds aren't isolated, that our thoughts actually affect the collective consciousness. How should we picture that?
It's a bit abstract, I know. Think of it maybe like a shared atmosphere or a field of energy.
Okay.
Every thought, every feeling we generate is like a little vibration or a subtle shift in that atmosphere.
Uh-huh.
So if lots of people are putting out negativity, fear, judgment, it kind of pollutes that shade space.
Right, that makes the overall vibe heavier, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. And the opposite is also true. When individuals cultivate love, peace, forgiveness, those thoughts brighten the collective atmosphere. Your own inner state contributes to the overall mental climate.
Wow. So my frustration in traffic isn't just my problem. It's adding like a tiny drop of negativity to the collective pool.
In a subtle way, yes, that's the implication. But the flip side is empowering, right?
Yeah.
When you consciously choose a different response in that moment, maybe acceptance, maybe just breathing through it, you're adding a drop of peace instead.
Okay, that makes sense. And this leads into that other core idea, doesn't it? That perception shapes reality.
Absolutely key. The way we choose to see the world, the meaning we assign to things, directly influences the reality we experience and the one we contribute to.
So if I choose to see connection instead of separation, or love instead of fear,
That choice has power. It changes your experience, and according to this lesson, it sends a different signal out into that collective field.
right. Now, the lesson talks about the power of inner work, that healing my own mind, my own heart, creates a ripple effect. Can we make that more concrete? How does that ripple actually start?
Think about dropping a pebble into a still pond.
Okay.
The splash might seem small, just where the pebble hits, but the ripples spread out, right? They affect the entire surface eventually.
Yeah.
Inner work is like that pebble. When you address your own fears, your judgments, your grievances, the stuff that causes you pain, you create the center of peace within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that peace, that shift in you, doesn't just stay locked inside. It naturally radiates out. It changes how you interact with people.
So I feel calmer, Maybe I react less harshly to
That's
someone?
exactly, and that person feels it. Maybe they react differently in turn. It subtly influences the energy around you, and that contributes to the larger collective
So
experience.
it's not just about feeling better personally, which is great in itself.
No, it's presented as more than that. It's actively contributing to a more peaceful environment, which then theoretically has this wider reach.
This really goes against the grain of thinking we're just separate individuals, doesn't it?
Completely. Lesson 186 basically says that idea of separation is an illusion. It states we are all integral to the whole.
Integral to the whole.
Understanding that, feeling that interconnectedness is key to understanding how our inner state can possibly impact the whole world.
Okay, let's talk practicals. The briefing notes mention mindfulness, paying attention to thoughts, consciously choosing love over negativity. How is that more than just like personal stress relief?
Well, mindfulness gives you the awareness first. You have to notice the negative thought, the judgmental reaction, before you can do anything about it, right?
True.
So mindfulness creates that space, the space to catch it and say, okay, I see that thought. Do I want to follow it, or can I choose something different?
Like choosing forgiveness or just letting it go.
Exactly. Choosing a more loving thought, a more peaceful perspective, that conscious choice, especially when you repeat it, starts to rewire your own patterns. And that sends a different signal into that collective atmosphere we talked about.
Okay. And then there are acts of kindness. The notes say these create a cycle of positivity and show interconnectedness tangibly.
Yes, acts of kindness are like putting the principle into action in the physical world.
Makes sense.
When you consciously choose to do something kind, it obviously benefits the other person, creates that connection, but it also reinforces within you that sense of unity, that feeling of shared humanity.
Yeah, it feels good usually.
It often does. It demonstrates that positive actions generate positive feelings, which can then inspire more positive actions. It's living the interconnectedness.
So how do we weave this into daily life? It sounds great in theory, but,
Life happens, right? The study guide suggests daily reflection, taking a few minutes at the end of the day
to do what exactly?
to just gently review, how did my thoughts and actions line up with this idea today? Where did I react out of fear or judgment? Where did I manage to choose peace or kindness?
Sort of like a mental inventory.
Kind of. Not to beat yourself up, but just to build awareness. Okay, I got caught up in resentment there. Tomorrow, maybe I can try a different approach. It's about consciously choosing to align yourself more with love.
And what about affirmations? The guide suggests things like, my thoughts contribute to world peace. Does repeating a sentence really do much?
Well, affirmations work on the level of reprogramming subconscious beliefs. Our minds often run on autopilot based on old programming. By consistently, consciously introducing a new positive belief like, my peace contributes to the world's peace, you start to challenge the old patterns.
So it makes that positive pathway stronger over time.
Exactly. It helps internalize the idea, making it feel more natural, more believable. It helps cultivate that inner environment that supports this idea of contributing to salvation.
There's a key question in the study guide that really brings it home. How can I take responsibility for my thoughts and actions to positively influence the world around me?
Yes.
What changes can I implement to align my mindset with the idea that my inner peace contributes to global peace?
It really grounds the whole thing, doesn't it? It shifts the focus from some massive, abstract world salvation to your thoughts, your actions right now.
My sphere of influence.
Precisely. What small, tangible shifts can you make today? It emphasizes your personal agency in this process. You're not helpless, you're actually pivotal, according to this lesson.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up a bit for you, the listener. What's the big takeaway from this dive into Lesson 186?
I think the core message is that you are not just a passive observer. You're not just watching the world happen.
Right.
Your inner state, the choices you make about your thoughts, your feelings, how you react to these things matter profoundly. They aren't small or insignificant.
According to the Course, they're fundamental to the salvation, the healing of the world.
Exactly. Think about those examples we discussed. Choosing forgiveness when it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Consciously choosing peace inside yourself instead of projecting blame or anger outwards. Trying to be a source of light or understanding even when things feel dark or difficult.
Those are all ways to actively live this lesson.
They are. It's all about that link. Personal alignment leading to world transformation. That's actually a very empowering message, even if it feels weighty at first.
It puts the power and the responsibility right back with you. So maybe ask yourself, what part of this discussion stood out most to you?
What's one tiny shift, maybe in thought, maybe in a reaction, that you could experiment with today, just holding the possibility that it does have that ripple effect?
Yeah. And here's maybe a final thought to carry with you from this lesson. If the salvation of the world truly depends on you,
Which is the premise.
right, then what kind of world are you choosing to create with each thought, each action, each choice for forgiveness or peace?
It's not a lesson you just read once. It's really an invitation to ongoing practice, ongoing reflection, and a commitment to exploring the power of your own inner journey.